Hello and welcome to Who Dares Rolls TV, episode 2 of the UK Games EXPO Debrief. I'm your host of this wonderful show, Mike B, and today we'll be going through some of the odds and sods that I didn't cover in the first video, which if you've not watched it, then obviously you should be watching that, because this is part 2. Part 1 has got more other stuff, and we covered some games in that episode, the stunning episode we didn't see. We covered some Portal News, surprise stare games, some of the stuff we looked at from those guys, and then a sheer smorgasbord of other thrilling things that you probably should be looking at. So, enough of that. Let's move onwards. This is the second part of the video, a debrief, and we're going to cover some stats and figures, because everyone loves a figure, a graph, and some stats. Otherwise, we wouldn't be playing board games. So, some stats and numbers. So, unique visitors that visited the show uniquely was 25,074, something like that. I'll really quickly check. 25,704. That's quite a large number. So that's unique attendees, which I think that makes it about 18.5% increase on previous years, if I remember rightly from reading the numbers. Something like that. So that's quite a lot of people. Repeat visitors during this period of time, people came backwards over the 3 days, was 45,097, which is about a 15% increase on the previous year. Essentially, after all those numbers, more people came to the show more regularly, which is nice, which is always good to know. So it's growing. It's grown every year, as we know. It's grown from the Hilton. It was kind of fairly big there. Obviously, the NEC now is its 3rd year of NEC, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down in the size of it. I mean, now they're covering 3 halls. I think we had in total there. Massive amount of people there. Lots of stuff going on. It's probably time for a stat montage. Yes, a stat montage. A montage of stats. Stuff and excitement of things, of all these things, because they released some stats regarding things that we used at the expo. So yes, stat montage. Coming in 3, 2, 1, stat montage. So there we go, that was the stat montage. How exciting, especially the stat of the honeymooners. I mean, wow, how to shorten your marriage and get yourself stabbed in just one easy task. But congratulations to the happy couple. May they long continue to play games, and hopefully there'll be the pitter-patter of tiny meeples somewhere down in their future. So that's all that out of the way. So let's catch up on some of the other sights and sounds and other places we didn't visit, didn't see during the show. Stuff we did look at, but we haven't covered in the last video. So one of them, Alley Cat Games. So we did get to Alley Cat Games stand. They were really busy, crazily so. They had Dice Hospital there, and the expansion, the deluxe set of it was available. Welcome to Dino World, which is their roll and write, which I really wanted to play and have a look at. Didn't get a chance. It was really busy. I did go past the stand a couple of times, but I didn't pick one up. I didn't. It's out to, I believe, you can be bought direct from Alley Cat Games website. So maybe see. Now, having looked at the Imperial Settlers roll and write review incoming, I will hopefully track down a copy of Dino World. Have a look at that. We did look at, I say we, it was Charlie from the podcast was with me. We had to stop and we had a look at Cat Cafe, which was in very limited supply on the stand when we got there, which is a roll and write of you with your cat cafe, basically. It was quite interesting. We had to look at it. Sadly, it literally sold out whilst we were demoing the game, and Charlie was primed and ready to leap on it and pick it up. And it sold out. So they were taking, I believe, pre-orders for, I think, in October as now as the next release of that. As I say, I went in cold, not having played any roll and writes at all. It was quite interesting. I quite enjoyed it. You were at little stands where you could pop cats and mice and stuff and score points. It was fairly sort of whimsical. A whimsical cat cafe roll and write. Quite enjoyed it, doodling with cats and mice on there. Charlie, I think, was quite a big fan of it. We mentioned it in the live show as something that we looked at and enjoyed. And yeah, again, something that I maybe want to go back to. I know it's definitely in Charlie's wheelhouse, and I believe his partner Emma was very inspired or excited by the idea of a cat cafe. So there was that, Alley Cat and Dice Hospital, which I've still not played, and a bunch of other stuff. But yes, get a chance, look at Alley Cat games, because they do a bunch of stuff now. Their catalogue is expanding at a rate of knots. What else do we look at? EA Games. Oh yes, EA Games. So our dear buddies at EA Games, publishers of things like Omnos, we covered in a video recently, and Hieroglyphs, and Snagit, which was available at limited supplies at the show. They dropped a sneaky one to me, which actually I then promptly forgot about briefly, is that they are going to get the publishing rights, or have the publishing rights, to a Gruffalo board game. I believe not only is Andrew, the owner of EA Games and designer of their games, is also going to be joined by Tony Boydell, our dear Uncle Tony, smut puddler and all-round malcontent of the board game world, bless his cotton socks, and designer of Snowdonia and Scandaroo. And Brett Gilbert as well was coming aboard. So those three gents are kind of combining their esteemed talents to give us the Gruffalo board game. Brilliant timing for me, as I have a relatively new edition, 10 months old today I believe he is, little Isaac. But yes, so by the time he's reached a point of gaming nirvana where he's ready, I can sit and play games with him, Gruffalo hopefully will be available. I'm sure it will become a firm family favourite. I'm interested to see what happens, because Tony already tackled some childhood joy of mine, which was in these Ivor the Engine game, which great cracking game, really good art from the sadly late departed Oliver Postgate. But no, it was a good game. It was still a game. No, it wasn't a kiddie-fi game. It was a solid game. It really was, and could be quite brutal. So it'd be interesting to see how these esteemed gentlemen come together and what they give us with the Gruffalo game. Very cool. Great news, and congratulations to EA Games for nabbing that. Were-Oiled Blood Revenge. We played that. No, I didn't. I looked at that. It looked very colourful, looked very gorgeous. They also had another game on their stand, which was Titans of Quantitas. Titans of Quantitas was another one we looked at, which was an abstract game of blocks. You were trying to make numbers on a board, so you had a secret number that you were trying to get, and there was mathy, it was involving. It was interesting. Not the world's biggest abstract fan game, and not the world's biggest number wang type style board game stuff. I have a free app that they gave me, which I have got, I've not looked at yet, of the game. But yes, it was different. It was something else, a small independent designer to look at. If you're, definitely I think for kids, maybe if you're looking to teach the little icklings some maths and stuff there was definitely some head mathematician-y stuff happening in that. We found, I won it twice. Who knows? I didn't even have to take my shoes off to count the numbers. Amazing. I was playing against Tony, who is, well, yeah, he's troubled, bless him. But there we go. So there was that. We had a look at that. One we didn't look at and we tried to get to, and I know Charlie was salivating at the prospect of, and I myself was quite excited, was the Alien role-playing game. They were busy the entire show. They had some art. Now, I think he's looked at the book and he said it's thick, but it looks kind of cool. Now, I'm personally a massive fan of the Alien IP. I mean, love the original movie and Aliens, certainly. I even have a very soft spot for Alien 3. And then, yeah, I'm not so on the later stuff. It's still Aliens. I kind of, like it. Alien Legendary was cracking. Really enjoyed that as a deck-building game. I'm really looking forward to Lifeform. That's coming, which is from Hall of Nothing Productions, which essentially is the Alien board game without the license. That looks kind of cool. But yes, and was a massive fan, well, played a lot of the Aliens RPG era. It is here. The Aliens adventure game from Leading Edge Games back in the old 90s. This came out. That's an old thing. Really played that quite a few times. Ran a few games of that. So I was a fan of that. That was kind of very much combat orientated. It had you as a bunch of basically very well armed murder hobos going around blowing shit up. So it'd be good and interesting to see if they've captured the actual aesthetic of the proper Alien franchise, which is essentially absolute dread of this toothy biomechanical monster coming to kill you, and you have very little chance of dealing with it. So we'll see where they come at from it. It looked very cool, what I saw of it. They were running games during the show, and they had some kind of cool maps and stuff on the board they were messing around with. Little other than that is known, but it's one that I'm definitely kind of interested in. It's definitely piqued my interest, and being a fan of the franchise, it's kind of something even just to own the source book and read and look at, which I often done before with RPG stuff. So there's that was kind of cool. ITB, we looked at them. They had Subterra 2 in its early gestation. So sequel to Subterra, we were interested in our preview to the show expo as to what Subterra 2 would bring us. So essentially it is as a completely different, not linked to the first game in regards to the actual storyline. It's in a volcanic cave system. Again, you're walking through, uncovering tiles as you sort of venture into this new environment, and stuff is happening. Didn't get a chance to play it. Again, really busy stand, and kept coming past and kept hoping to get a chance to sit down and maybe get a demo of it. And just time ran out, as things are, these sort of events. Did look at it, we had some shots. I think we'll put some photos up here, and that's due, I think, to hit Kickstarter in October. Very interested to see how that turns out, because actually Subterra is quite an enjoyable game, and it's just quirks, but it'll be interesting to see if they iron some of the stuff out, where they go with this second version of it, if it's just like a very much cookie cutter, or if it's going to actually have some different game mechanisms and stuff in there. Looks kind of cool. Looks the idea of the lava on the floor and all that, it's kind of cool, which takes me back to this the Table as Lava game, which I think I mentioned in the last video. Well worth tracking down. Super Fantasy Brawl we played from Mythic Games. That was very cool. It's an arena sort of combat game, 2-player. You essentially have some rather gorgeous looking miniatures and a deck of cards for your characters, and you shuffle them up, and you're playing cards to essentially attack the other team, and there's bits on the arena map that you can interact with, and then it was cool. As a fast-paced fighting game for 2 players, it was solid. It really worked. It was very smooth. It didn't have any real sort of slowdown, no lagginess to it. It was direct and to the point. Fun. It's not really one that I'm going to probably pursue or having my collection. I don't play a lot of 2-player games. I don't get a chance very often to play 2-player games, so it's something that would languish on a shelf, really, unloved. If I'm going to hit an arena-style combat game, I'll go back to my old favourite, which is Spartacus, game of blood and treachery, cracking game from Gale Force 9. I think sadly now out of print, but worth a track down if you want something like that, which is more of you can play it. Brilliant stuff. But if you're in the market for a 2-player arena skirmish miniature game with some really cool art and design, and as simple to pick up and play for the best as I can see, then have a look at that. I believe that's coming Kickstarter in the next month or two. And I'll obviously put some pictures up and stuff here. And Lifeform, which I was going to discuss about, which we already discussed, and I'll come back to Lifeform. Cracking game. Lifeform from Hall & Nothing Productions was on Kickstarter last year. Is literally on the boat now, so it should be hitting in July to backers, and I think probably going to retail round about that time. Hall & Nothing did stuff, the 1066, Tears of Many Mothers, and the other one. Which has completely gone out of my brain. I'll put a thing up here. I'm sorry, Tristan. This happens. People of a senior age. I'm rambling in the hope that the penny will drop somewhere in here. Doesn't appear to be. The Shadows of Kilforth. That's one of the outtakes. So yes, 1066, Tears of Many Mothers, and Shadows of Kilforth was the other one they did, which is card-based sort of adventure game. Came out a couple of years ago, and there's been a sequel to that, or an add-on to that. But yeah, Lifeform, really cool. Alien the ball game, essentially. Not got the license, but it is Alien the ball game. Really interesting design. It was on something Mark Chaplin, who designed it, had been working on for many years before it eventually got picked up by Hall & Nothing. Looks gorgeous. Fast play game, really good, just to get that tight atmospheric feeling of you being pursued by a merciless killing machine. Can't wait. It's one of my Grail games. It's been on my list forever. So I'm really excited to finally be able to have that land in my lap and have a play of it. That'd be good. Bring 'em by. Oh, bye. Bring 'em by again. You know what? I've kind of fallen out of love with the Bring 'em by. Loved the Bring 'em by in the early days at the Hilton. Really did. There was some real bargains to be got in there, and maybe there still is if you get in there at the right time. It has sadly come to me just a bit of like a charity shop, just disaster zone. There's so many just overpriced games in there still. It's an issue I've had with it previous last few years. People putting the Works games in there, more expensive than they were in the Works. I mean, seriously, guys? But yeah, nothing really there for me. Nothing. The last 2 to 3 years, I've picked nothing up for the Bring 'em by, which is a sad state of affairs, because there's just a love of rummage in there. And I've just not really found anything that's grabbed me. So yeah, there we go. If you're going to Bring 'em by, think about, if you want to sell stuff, maybe price it to sell. Hopefully that's going to be maybe next year. We'll see if people get the clue. But at the moment, there seems to be people basically just trying to scalp off other board game collectors. So yeah, that's not cool, but we'll see. Other than that, yeah, it was okay. Bring 'em by is Bring 'em by. I love the idea of Bring 'em by. But yeah, it was a bit of a disappointment again this year. Volunteers, yes, quick word out. We must say, congratulations, well done, thanks immensely. You're all bloody brilliant. It's the volunteers, all the stands and across the show and the expo. I mean, it wouldn't happen without the volunteer team there. They're just giving up their valuable expo time just so that everyone else can have a really great time. And they're always smiling, they're always happy. So all of you, unnamed, unknown groups out there of happy volunteers, thank you again for making the show what it is. And for giving up your time so that we can all enjoy the show. As I say, without them, the expo wouldn't happen. So it's great they're there, and treat them well. Be respectful to these guys. They're doing a fantastic job. Well done, all you lot. Jolly good. Keep up the good work. Shows. There was loads of shows on. There was Nightmare Live. There was Darkroom. There was obviously live podcasts of No Pun. I think had one. Shut Up and Sit Down. There's all these guys. All this stuff. All this amazing. Never saw any of it. Didn't get a chance. But if you are going to go, I'm sure they were great. I know the Darkroom is a classic. Seen it a few times. Brilliant. Nightmare Live. I enjoyed the previous year I saw. It was really great. I'm sure there's no reason to suspect that they were less so this year. But yes, there was plenty of shows, and I'm sure there will be more next year. And there was our show, which no one came to. So there's that as well. Open Play. Now, Open Play. Obviously, they opened up Hall 2, and I think Hall 3 for Open Play in the NEC. The Hilton is still kind of the hub of where people seem to linger back to play. Saturday night, it was rammed. Absolutely rammed. So we didn't even bother. Went in there, tried to find a spot. Couldn't. That was early evening as well. So we ended up back in Hall 2, which was plenty of room in there. And there was people in there, but that was quieter. So I think that's one of the issues that they need to kind of contend with, maybe going forward. To a point, I don't know. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I've had a group of guys I could play with and all that, but especially I think people on their own or travelling in small groups or one people maybe struggle to find gaming because it's just solidly wedged in there and everyone's playing. So you kind of find yourself bumbling around. But I've always found quite a lot of people welcoming him at the show, so I would imagine you'll find a spot. But yeah, don't know. That's the only thing, is that kind of post-show atmosphere is kind of dissipated a tad because it's spread all over different locations. Not quite as everyone where we were all in one room. Logistics is not going to happen. As we've already did the stat blast earlier, that there's no way of containing all of us in one place. But yeah, that was the thing. The open gaming, plenty there. Let's not argue. There was loads of space available. There was always places to find to play games, which is great. It's that sort of show. But yeah, there we go. Open gaming. We did open gaming. We played openly in the gaming area. Tournaments. So lots of tournaments running again this year. Never run one. I've never been in one. Tempted this year by the Blood Rage one, to be honest with you, because that was only in one evening. The issue I have with tournaments is often if you go there, and I know Jamie, who's part of one of my local group, played, I think the previous year, went into the Catan tournament, which was great for him. He enjoyed it. Sadly, it ran over pretty much the entire expo. So you were locked in a room playing that game for the entire show. So I know there's people enjoy them, and obviously there is some very good prizes to be won by entering into a tournament. But yeah, I don't know yet. Maybe one year I'll give it a blast if I can find one which is just for one evening or one spot. Maybe on a Saturday, actually, because Saturday's madly busy. So actually maybe just go and sit and playing games for most of Saturday in a tournament. That might be a thing to do. But plenty there, and Cool Mini or not had massive amount of tournaments and tourneys running, and lots of good stuff being handed out from that. Obviously FFG running Keyforge, I'm sure X-Wing and Legion was getting a showing, and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, tournaments are very cool. I'm interested to see. We may take a shot at one next year. We'll see. And that's it. So we're done the final thoughts. So that's it. This is us done for basically a debrief on the expo. I've not nearly covered probably half the people I spoke to or what we saw. But another cracking show. Final thoughts on it. For me personally, I mean, I enjoy the show every year and I'll be going again, and I love the expo. It's kind of meeting my extended family. I get to see people I only see once a year sometimes. So for that alone, it's just a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful place. I enjoyed just that whole 3 days of just board gaming bliss. And obviously, the come down of that is like, a lot of people with the expo blues. But yes, I enjoy just that. It's my special time of year. It's my Christmas in those 3 days. I love it. But yeah, I think nothing blew me away this year. Saw some stuff, as I say, we saw plenty of games and things, but nothing kind of jumped out and slapped me in the face as being amazing. There was some interesting games there. As I said, we've covered them in the last video and a few more here today. But yeah, I don't know, it was missing something. I mean, we had a couple of big releases there. Century came out, and I'm sure some other stuff. It's gone. That was like over a week ago now. 2 weeks ago even, maybe. But yeah, so yeah, the expo, oh no, final thoughts were, loved it, enjoy the expo anyway, wherever it is just that show. It is, if you're going to go to one board game convention in the UK, sensibly, it really is the one to go to. It's happening, and who knows what's planned for next year, how big it's going to get. So that's something to look forward to. But yes, really enjoyed it. Just felt that there was nothing wowing me this year. There was lots of stuff to look at. Nothing leapt out and really blew me away. Just a lot of stuff, even stuff that was kind of highly praised as it was going to be cool. Felt kind of like, yeah, it's the kind of the same stuff I've seen before. Maybe I'm getting burnt out on this board game thing. Who knows? Let's not say that. So yes, there we go, the UK Games Expo. If I met you there, oh yeah, by the way, anyone who said hi, thank you. There was a few, I think Gary, you came and saw me. There was a few other people I saw. So, hi, all you people I saw and said hi. I'm saying hi back. That was really nice. It's always nice to see someone who actually follows our stuff. My God, actually people watch this shit. But yeah, so that was it. That was the expo. It was good fun. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to next year already. Booked my hotel this time. I'm on it this year. And we'll see what next year brings. Until then, this has been Who Dares Rolls. I have been Mike B. This was the UK Games Expo Debrief Part 2, which is now done. And we'll be back soon with reviews of Lord of the Rings, Adventures in Middle-earth. We've got to look at the Portal Goodness, Robinson Crusoe Mystery Tiles, Imperial Set as well, right? Need to look at Foothills, Surprise Stairs, new one. You sit down and play that, and a bunch of other stuff, and some small games. Find your pickle. We played with my pickle the other day. Very interesting. I'll come back to that. But yeah, a bunch of stuff. Oh, Outer Rim as well, we're going to be looking at. So yeah, a bunch of board gamey shenanigans at some point when I sit down and get my arse in gear. We'll be doing reviews of that. There'll be some written stuff coming up. I know Charlie's got a few things ready, including his Da Vinci Code review. And Ray, who is a new anime giant robot RPG fan, he has got stuff that I've got stuck in my inbox that I need to sort out. So there's a bunch of stuff coming either on the website or on here to look forward to. If you're not a subscriber, then subscribe. Apparently that's the thing that should happen. Thank you for all of you who has subscribed recently. We've like quadrupled our numbers in the last month or two. Amazing. But I've rambled. This is the end of it. So we're done. So yes, thank you very much again. I look forward to catching up. Until next time, farewell and adieu to you Spanish ladies stuff things. Good night.